Hi, it's Pilar Kellenbarger with Collecting Our Angels, Nurturing Our Children. And I'm back for part two. Yesterday was love versus fear. And today is realizing what fear does to our mind and our bodies. And these tomorrow will be about how to let your passion come out and how to follow the signs. And all of this came from me getting sick. And I remember a few weeks ago when I was with my flu and pneumonia, all of these downloads started coming and all these different things, serendipities and um, things coming to me. And I was like, wow, that's so awesome. So I've been taking notes, being in bed, and then writing down some more. And then I was like, I have to let people know about these. So it started on the 22nd of December, and I got the flu and pneumonia. And then I was told, you have to be in bed. Well, my girls were home and for Christmas, and I was so sad to be away from them for so long. But it all turned out wonderfully. It was very nice. But what I remember going through was as soon as I was sick, I remember and a name, Anita Morgiani, jumped in my head. I read her book, I'm Dying to Be Me. And I remember her saying how she believed her getting sick was because of her fear and the way that she lived in her fear for a lot of her life. And that really made me think about that. I had to. I was in bed laying there taking meds and I couldn't really move and I was so tired and coughing and I had to just lay and rest and heal. So while that was going on, I was healing myself and I was like, wow, other people have to be going through this too. So I need to share. So this is what happened. So I connected with that. And then what I was thinking about was the different fears that I grew up with. Fears like being a people pleaser. Oh my gosh, I've always been a people pleaser. The doormat. And really just not valuing myself. That started coming out more as I sent a text to my family back east, and then the family on my husband's side right here. And I didn't get any response back. And like I said yesterday, yes, it was a blessing to finally see it and be like, Pilar, you don't need to be begging for these people anymore. But when you're in it, it's a little heartbreaking. But as I was doing this, it was helping me get rid of all of those bad fears that I was living with. What if you were abandoned? Oh, well, and it did happen. There were no texts or messages from them, but from my wonderful sister friends who were awesome, but not from any family. And that was okay. I needed that to happen so that I could learn this lesson. So if that's happening to you right now, stick with it. Know that you have the divine in you. And what I was learning was with the divine in me, that is, I'm supposed to be that for them. I was so upset that I was being this character in their life that they could push around and ignore all the time. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be that character in their life. And I was like praying for help with that because I was having such a hard time with it. And then all of a sudden, it came to me through this Anita Morgiani thought. I then saw on Facebook that her Hay House is taking her conversations and Wayne Dyer's, they put them together for a free webinar. So then I'm watching that. And I'm watching Wayne say and talk about how be still and know I am God. And how, oh my gosh, we have God in all of us. So I can't really be upset that I am this character for these people. It's to help them. So when I think of that in that way, it just made all the sadness leave. I know it sounds so easy, but it really works. So if you're stuck in something like that, try it. Remind yourself, be still, and know I am God. Wayne Dyer used to say that mantra during his meditations. And I just cannot believe I was so upset. And then as soon as I said that, it was gone. And that's how we're letting things leave us. It was just amazing. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope that works for you. So as I was doing that, I knew I had a choice. Well, I could either be, the person who would say something very kind of mean back to these family members who weren't going to show me anything, any respect or anything. And I could be trying to show my light instead and just offer them love. Thank them quietly for being this for me. And then I could send them love and let it go and just wait for it to really release me. And it did, and it was just amazing. So I wanted you to know that we all do go through these things, and this is what was going through with me, and I wanted to share it so that when you feel the same way, these are some simple things that really work. So after you do that, I wanted you to think about some other things that I learned during this with Anita. So after that, it was about the characters, and then it made me think more of focusing on who I really was. What have I been doing? Laying in bed made me realize what were my passions and what was going on. So what was going on with me was that I was really working hard at having these feelings come up and bubble up and let them go. That's what was important to me. So as they were coming up, I was taking care of them, feeling them. You have to feel them so that they can leave. So if we want to let go of something, it has to release us. So, oh, hi, Sharon. And yes, thank you. I look good. It's a lot of makeup. And yes, I am feeling better. But so thank you. I was also thinking about the fears from my childhood and all the different things like that we do feel. Like I would make myself feel so small, I remember. Never really loving myself, never really valuing myself. Again, trying to be that people pleaser. Again, trying to fit in with the in-laws or even fit into my own family. And sometimes it just doesn't work that way. So the fact that they were doing that and ignoring me made me talk more about the character in me and how, yes, I need to be this character. I need to be that. I can be the character that God put me here to be in order for me to help them. That was wow, that was just a mind-blowing moment when I was laying in bed and it came to me. I didn't have to cry anymore about that. And it really just released. It was amazing. So I wanted to share that with you. The other thing that I got from listening to Anita on Wayne Hayhouse's new webinar was about how she was talking about how she looked in the mirror and what that brought up for her. Well, I did the same thing. A while ago, I was trying to, last Monday, put some makeup on and go do some tutoring. And I was tired, so I put a chair in front of my mirror. And then I just sat up straight and I looked at myself and I was so amazed that, look at you, Pilar. And I wasn't sad because of anything, any vanity or, oh, I don't look good. It was more like, look what you let happen to you by being the people pleaser, the doormat, by letting all that fear control me. I was amazed at how much it took away from me. Like, oh my gosh, look at you. Even though I was sick, I understood that. But there were other things. And I was like, oh my gosh. So she said that the person she saw wasn't the person she remembers. And that's how I felt. Like, where did you go? She saw this skinny image, but the important thing was, like her, I cried, looked in the mirror, just cried out. But how she couldn't believe she allowed herself to get to that state. And I remember thinking the same thing. So as I moved the chair and I sat there, I sat up and looked in the mirror. I felt that. I cried. I realized that I had spent 30 years trying to be accepted into this family group out here. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I do know I did it for my girls. You just do that for family members. I never had people who will, bye Sharon, okay, watch later. I had these girls that I wanted to have a grandma. I didn't have that when I grew up. So that's why I did it. That's why I would go over and just be the person that they could, be that character that they could throw their insults at and things like that, because I wanted that, I wanted them to have some family, and I thought, oh, I can take it. So I do understand why I did it for so long, but now that I realize, it's like, no, I really can't do that. So I had to learn to be okay with that. I knew the people I had to divorce from were actually the family members with these titles. I was that character for them to also like beat up on me and things like that. And just like Anita told herself, this is what she said: in that moment, I will never ever forsake you again. I will never let you down, even if you fail and no one else believes in you. And that is exactly how I felt. I remember saying that to myself. What Anita also says in her book, which is a big quote, is love yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Anita Morjani. That is so true. You have to love yourself and take care of yourself, because there's no one else but you. And your life does depend on it. These are the things I wanted you to hear and know. Tomorrow is about the signs and following it, but just being sick offered all of these wonderful paths for me. A path that was given to me and helped guide me was when I was struggling with the being ignored from family, and I was getting so upset. But I remember going through Facebook and seeing a post by a healer and author, Matt Kahn, and his post offered someone putting up an 11-minute portion of one of his talks. And it just changed me. It changed me as I read it. This fan of his is Matthew Knott. And he put up Corey Jordan's quote: some people are only compatible with an expired version of you. That was just like, boom. Sometimes we hear things and they just make sense. Wow, I needed to hear that portion. I needed that. A quote from Matt Kahn that came up for me during this exact time was, acceptance says, I accept that I feel this way, even though I wish I didn't have to. Boom, giving myself permission to feel upset. And also, when I just sat with my husband and just let him know how I felt, I didn't want him to change or fix anything. I just wanted to hear his opinion of what he would say to somebody and help them. And I remember as I said that, I said out loud, I didn't do anything to deserve this. And that just changed me as well. I didn't. We don't do anything to deserve these things. We have to remember that if we're still, we need to know that we are God. The divine is inside of us. So we are these characters for these people so that they can learn their lessons. Doesn't mean that they will learn them. Those of us who are awakened, we're trying to be the light bearers. We're trying to help people see the light. But we can't force them. All we can do is be there for them. And so when I heard that, and I heard myself say that, it is the truth. We don't do anything to deserve any of this. It's not our fault. And that's what we need to remember. So those of you who are going through like me and getting sick and you're wondering, oh my gosh, and all of these things are coming to you, take some notes, follow the paths, let the paths guide you. As you listen, follow the signs or the popcorn path, I call it, of guidance. You'll see how God or universe, the source, whatever you want to call it, puts all these out there for us. They're there for us. Popping into my head, oh, remember what Anita Morjani said? Boom, here's a free webinar while you're sick. Boom, here's a post from Matt Kahn. Boom, here's a fan putting up an 11-minute portion of one of his talks to help you get past this. All of that was for me. So make sure that you, when you put out your prayers of, please help me with this, that you will be showed the path. So just make sure you take the path. I just hope that all of this helps you. Again, I'm Pilar Kellenbarger, collecting our angels, nurturing our children. I'm a parenting author. I wrote a parenting book. It's on Wattpad right now, and it's Parenting Scholar Athletes. It's in a spiritual manner. I grew up in the 70s. It's a way of, this is how you should raise your children. A lot of people aren't doing that today. And I have some scholar athletes who went on and they're back east and they come home for Christmas and they call, and all the struggles and everything that we taught them, this Christmas they are sending us to Hawaii. So I have to get better. I leave on the 20th of January. And how wonderful is that? That was my payment for all the sacrifices right there. So please look at that. It's on Wattpad. It's under the title Parenting Scholar Athletes. I'm also working on Empty Nester book. But I also have on my YouTube channel, Pilar Kellenbarger, there are my other videos to help you to heal. Also on www.pilarkellenbarger.com, my website. Lots of different blogs that can help you with these things to heal. And like tomorrow when we talk more about how your passion is and how to follow those signs, I have other blogs where I have written about that. So I have all of these things that I started and I'm very proud of, because that is my intention. I just want to, what I learn, I want to share with others. Because I was in bed 2 weeks ago wondering, how am I going to get past this? And it all came to me through God showing me the path, and I just wanted to relay it to you. I hope this is helpful. I'm not sure if I will do my third one tomorrow, maybe Monday. And it will be about how to let our passion out with our work, whatever it is that we do, and how we can follow our signs more. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you tomorrow or on Monday. Have a great one.